Liverpool 2, Ipswich 0. Obviously, a game of two halves. I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of things to say about the game. But first of all, make sure if you're not subscribed that you are subscribing right now as you're watching this before we get started. And make sure you smash that thumbs up button as well, man. Let's get to about 150 or so likes for this video. First of all, listen, man. I'm not going to lie. It was an interesting game, innit? It was an interesting game. I'm not particularly impressed by the first half performance by any stretch. Listen, Ipswich are always going to come out flying out the blocks. They're at home, back in the Premier League after so long. They were always going to make it a difficult game for us. But I still expected us to weather the storm a little bit better. I think the decision to take off Kwanzaa at halftime was a strange one because I did think he was one of the better defenders for Liverpool. I think Robbo wasn't very good. I think Trent was moving lethargic. Van Dijk was all right, but didn't really impose himself either. I think Kwanzaa made a pretty much goal-saving block or a very good block very early on and some very good one-on-one defending. Of course, he did get done in the wide area by the left-sided player that they had, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was a warranted decision to take off Kwanzaa. But listen, Konate came on and he didn't really put a foot wrong. So I can't hate on the Konate decision. I think on the ball, Konate was still a little bit 50-50, but we didn't really need him to be brilliant on the ball. We just needed to also shore up that wide area to let Trent come inside and kind of dictate the game a little bit more, which is what he done. The ball from Trent to Salah before he even goes to Jota. Don't piss me off. Van Dijk in that second half. The pingers. 65 yarders, 70 yarders. Give me a break. The guy's a joke. Van Dijk is an actual joke. Listen, yeah, there's certain players I do want to shout out throughout this game. Gravy Boat. And for those who don't know who Gravy Boat is, it's Gravenberch in the 6. He was excellent all game, I think. Forward thinking, very good on the half turn. He managed to utilize his physical attributes, and that's not a part of his game, by the way. That's not really a part of his game. Gravenberch, even though he's 6'1", 6'2", he's not very physical. So he managed to impose himself in the first half as well. I think he was let down by a few times, but by a few bad-ish first touches from Salah, from his over-the-top ball on the half-turn, he was very, very good. And in the second half, comfy. Second half, very, very comfy. His passing, I think his ball retention, even his long passing for me as well. His decision-making was very good. He managed to hold on to the ball, knew when to release. Again, Gravenberch for me was one of the best players on the pitch, in my opinion. Yes, Salah's going to get the man of the match. Yes, Virgil van Dijk's going to get the plaudits for the long balls. Yes, Trent's going to get spoken about as well for the inside ball that he played and for the way he managed to dictate the game in the second half. But Gravy Boat, you're getting flowers from me. You balled out, my friend. You done very, very, very well. Definitely for me, he gets a 9 out of 10 today. But just moving on as well, Diogo Jota for me probably should score the header. Really should score the header, but he makes up for it. Salah for me didn't even have a great half. Salah didn't even have a great first half either. Salah wasn't very good in the first half. He was okay, but the left back seemed to be getting the better of him. And Amari Hutchinson was looking like the better right winger of the two in those first 45 minutes. But in the second half, Liverpool showed if you don't even take your chances, because for me, Ipswich didn't have I think they had one clear-cut chance, but they were the better team in the first half. But if we're being honest, if you don't take your chances, we will kill you in the second half. We will do you up in the second half. Straight, bareback, no lube, blood. Back slots in the second half. It got long. The second I saw Diaz getting behind, first 5 minutes, I thought, yeah, second half's going to get long. We're moving to these, man. They're going to get moved to. Salah, Jota, Diaz, McAllister, Gravenberch, Trent. They couldn't stop it. And that's how it should have been probably from the off. But again, slow start from Liverpool. Similar to last season, that's what needs to change, if I'm being honest. That slow start isn't going to work against Arsenal. It's not going to work against City. It's not going to work against even a Villa or a Newcastle. It's not going to work against those type of teams because players like Isak, Watkins, those guys will put you to sleep. First half, you find yourself 2-0 down and you've got all the work to do. But again, let's just talk about a little bit more in that second half. The way for me, the team was able to click. I like the build-up play. The ball was going into the middle. Players were able to get on the half turn, and then we were able to move. We were able to progress. And that is the slot ball that we kind of wanted to see. First half was very much long ball, diag to Salah, and see what we can get out of it. Second half, we finally improved our style of play. Now, for me, this is Ipswich Town. So Liverpool, for me, should be imposing our style of play a lot earlier. But at the end of the day, very, very impressed with the likes of Trent, Virgil van Dijk as well. And of course, for me, another thing I wanted to speak about, the substitutes that came on, very impressed with Tsimikas. Looks very accomplished, good on the ball. For me, I think Tsimikas needs to start the next game. Not to slight Robbo. I think Robbo's delivery was all right. His deliveries were looking on point. But on the ball, in build-up, is still a little bit janky. There is the decline that's happening with Robbo. He's not going to be world-class forever. He's not world-class anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? But he's still a player to have in our squad. But I think Tsimikas, for me, is the first, should be starting in that left-back position. I think Kwanzaa should still be starting next game. I don't think he was as bad as, nowhere near as what anyone's saying. He was one of the better defenders for me. He was better than Trent and better than Robbo. But here we are. Another one I'd say in the midfield, I feel like Szoboszlai, we have to speak about it. Szoboszlai in the first half, awful. Awful, not good enough. But in the second half, I'll hold my hands up. The little move that he done, the little drag back and gives it back to Trent through the middle, that leads to the Diaz sitter that he missed. Brilliant. The little 1-2 he does with Salah, yes, it takes the deflection, but you have to be there to make it happen. Very good. So in the final third, Szoboszlai was good in the final third. But it's industrial game for me. In that first half, got bullied, bodied by Amari Hutchinson. I think I need to see more of that second half Szoboszlai than the first half Szoboszlai. We can make that a 90-minute or even a 70-minute thing. Then I can start changing my opinion and we can move forward with Sobo. I still think Elliott should be starting next game because we're going to be we need to be a bit more tidy in the half spaces. But that's my opinion on Szoboszlai. Very good in the final third, and I'm happy with his performance today. Another one I have to be honest with is Diaz. Flicks and tricks, shamelessly flicking over a defender's head, but bro, he has to be scoring the opener. Diaz has to score the opener. His all-round game wasn't too bad today, but he has to score the opener for me. Like, I think he tries to lift it over the keeper, tries to buy the pen, and really, you just should be rifling that in the net. You're onside, Jota tees it up. He has to score. He has to score. But in the second half, these men were lucky not to be 6-0 down. Lucky not to be 6-0 down. Amari Hutchinson is a player. He is a player. You know what I'm saying? I think Ipswich should do well to stay up if they can perform like that going forward, especially at home. I'm not sure what their away record is going to be like, but at home, you can see they like to impose themselves, especially when it's a dry pitch. They can turn it into a scrappy game, and they can play in transition, and they can do little triangles. So credit to Ipswich as well, man. Credit to them. I think they brought the game to us in the first half, and Liverpool, in the end, we just have more quality than them. So it's all about imposing our playing style. It's Arne Slot's first game. I'm really happy he's got the win, a clean sheet as well, so I can't complain about that. And at the end of the day, I think it's about Arne Slot now imposing that play style from the off rather than in the second half having to make changes. And he'll learn that. He'll learn that going through with the team. So listen, man, we've got our 3 points. We'll see if everyone else goes and gets their 3 points. And it's going to be a very interesting game week going forward. Man. Match day 1, Liverpool 2, Ipswich Town 0. It's been another episode of Big Six Bants. If you're still here, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one, man. Big up and a good win for the boys.